the top of the knuckle on every single toe.
How's it going, guys?
Both of them.
We're here.
And then she takes both of my feet and puts them in the soak, which is basically just alcohol. I thought I was going to die in that chair.
I think I'm going to die in my chair right now.
I don't know what kind of pedicures you're getting out there, bro, but hey, we here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds
sounded like Ramsey Bolton give you a pedicure.
Dude, I was about to say, it literally sounds like a Westerosi type of pedicure going on.
She might have been. She was looking at me funny.
All right.
Hey, Jason, you're on camera today.
Yeah,
look at this guy.
Yep.
I mean,
wear the hat to cover up the 5 head.
I mean, look, admittedly, it's a little pixelated, but we're happy to have you here.
Well, I mean, I'm on a good computer, so it's just my internet. It's not my fault.
No, hey, look, we'll take you however we can get you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Hey, Dwight, why don't you get us started here?
Yeah.
Jason, Josh is like, I'm gonna regret this joke.
I told I told one of my guys in there that plays Destiny religiously. I told him the story about the time that me and Jason got pugged in a group, and I couldn't.
Oh no,
the ledge boss. And so, like every other day, this dude's like, I'll walk by or say something. He's like, "It's okay, man. There's always one."
Oh no!
I'm gonna fire you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fire you.
God.
All right, here we go.
Oh, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents Game of Thrones Season 6. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami
and David Disaster.
We made it.
What's up?
What's good?
Dude,
it's kind of sad. I know, man. It's sad. I've really enjoyed going through the rewatch here for Game of Thrones. As of this recording, I am about to start the Long Night episode, so I'm going to watch an 1.5 hour episode of Game of Thrones and not be able to see a goddamn thing. But I am almost done with the show, and it's sad, man. I'm having a good time.
I remember.
Question to both of you, because me and Dave are both. You're on season 7.
I'm on season 7, like episode
3.
I'm on episode 7.
Okay, I'm about to start season 7 tomorrow. But we've each
no. I'm on season 8.
Okay, you're on 8. Dave's on 7. I'm about to start 7. 6 seasons in, is it as good as you remember?
Every bit.
Yes.
Every bit. Maybe better.
It is. Yes, it is better than I would almost say it's some of it is even better than I remember.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've seen most of the first 4 or 5 seasons 6 times, but I have not watched any Game of Thrones since the show actually ended. 4 years ago?
Yeah.
It's just as good as I remember.
Yeah, it's so funny. I have about 10 characters in the show right now that I feel like I vacillate back and forth. Like, this is my favorite character. And then Tormund comes on the screen and sees Brienne, and he's just staring at her with those come fuck me eyes. And I'm like, okay, now he's back. He's my favorite character. Yeah. And then Sir Jaime does something noble and good. You're like he just knighted Brienne. I'm like, Jaime, you're back. You're back being my favorite character, bro. And then Bronn, I love all this. Yeah, I love all the secondary, but I can't wait to talk about in season 7 when she rolls up on the dragon on the Lannister army.
Yeah,
so good. But we'll get to that later. Yeah. Tonight, hopefully you've been following along with us here. We're here to talk about season 6 of Game of Thrones. We're doing one season a week, except for the very last one where we're going to do 7 and 8 all together. Leading up to, we're going to do the week-to-week review of the new Game of Thrones series, House of the Dragon, starting on August 21st.
Yeah. What I will say about season 6 specifically,
it's the best season?
Yes. I think without question it is the best season of Game of Thrones. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But
definitely in my top 3.
And specifically the season finale, The Winds of Winter, it's got to be the best episode of Game of Thrones
I think the last 3 episodes of this season are pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I would say that this episode, the season finale of season 6, and the Long Night are my 2 favorite episodes.
Yeah, and I don't want to say there's a big drop gap between the number 2, but it's God, this season 6, man. I just feel like they're firing on all cylinders, and it's the last full season of 10 episodes. Yeah. And man, it's one thing I have noticed going forward or more is like it's really unfortunate that season 7 and 8 are shorter because man, binging this show, you really feel how much shorter season 7 and 8 are.
Yeah, but the episode length is robust. I mean, the Long Night episode's an hour and a half.
I mean, look, it's just audio though, so it's like kind of weird.
I know. I'm sitting here, I'm telling Amanda, I'm like, God damn it, like we got this whole episode, and she doesn't like she's seen the whole show, but she doesn't remember a lot of the stuff, and I'm struggling a little bit here and too, but I think I'm a little clearer than she is. I'm like, oh yeah, this episode's coming up. She's like, what episode? I'm like, yeah, the one where they fight at night in Winterfell and you can't see shit. She's like, I don't remember that. And I was like, yeah, this TV we have is going to look like shit.
Yeah.
Turn brightness to maximum.
To maximum. Yeah.
I remember specifically watching that episode. I'm sure I'll tell this story again, but I remember watching that episode like when it was new, and I was watching it, in bed when my wife was already asleep, and I'm watching it, and I was like, I'm all the way back on my pillows, and I'm like, nope, this isn't any good. I literally had to get out of bed and sit at the foot of my bed, like with my big ass television just right there, and I'm like, because I couldn't see fucking shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here to talk about season 6, and it's good.
Yeah. It is really good. So got a good set of questions here. I'm going to start off with the most pressing question about season 6. Okay.
Gotta get the recap.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Jesus.
I forgot. I forgot that we renewed our recap support
contract. Those negotiations were tough.
Yeah. Go. Hey, Fossil, hit that recap, man. I'll be right back.
All right. Cool. Game of Thrones season 6. If season 5 was the burn. What the hell? Hold on a second.
Well, sorry about that, everybody.
All right, you ready?
Oh, we were ready.
Yeah, no. All right. So season 5. If season 5 was the slow burn setup season 6 is the blow off top payoff. As many stories started in the year before come to some form of conclusion and set us up for the ultimate conclusion, which would be the season 7 and 8. High Sparrow has along with the Faith Militant truly taken hold over the city, as well as Tommen, the king. Cersei is held captive basically in the Red Keep, plotting while awaiting her trial. And we've got to wait all season to see how this verdict plays out with both Marjorie and Sir Loras. In the north, Jon has been brought back to life, and Sansa has escaped the Boltons after Stannis' army was defeated at Winterfell. Family reunion turns to an alliance as they plot to regain the North and Winterfell itself in the Stark name. Most of the season is spent putting the team together, which will lead us to the ultimate battle, the Battle of the Bastards, which only turns for the good guys at the very last second when the Knights of the Vale show up and Snow confronts Ramsay to revenge Rickon and the Stark family. In Meereen, all seems to be going pretty great until it's not. Dany takes over the entire horde by killing the Dothraki leaders in an epic fire-walking scene and shows up to save the day in Meereen when all help is almost lost with all 3 of her dragons. Arya has finished her training in Braavos and is now headed to Westeros for her revenge tour. Bran has also finished the Three-Eyed Raven training and is headed to who knows where, honestly. He's saved by zombie Uncle Benjen, who feeds him some cup of rabbit blood, and it's whatever. Anyway, the epic conclusions shit comes down when Cersei is set to have her trial. But she ain't going out like that, and she kills everybody by blowing up the Sept of Baelor and all within. You lose the High Sparrow, Dolores, fine-ass Marjorie. Most of the House Martell,
R.I.P. Marjorie, fine-ass Marjorie.
Exactly. Most of the Faith Militant, if I'm not mistaken. It is fucking epic. Lastly, we finished the episode and the season with Dany naming Tyrion Hand of the Queen and allying with Yara, and they set sail for Westeros. And within the North, Jon is proclaimed King in the North.
King of the North!
Such a great fucking scene.
Look,
dude, what a cringy ass scene. What are you talking about?
Dude, that shit is...
Josh.
Bruh, how fast are they like, Rob who? Oh, yeah. Jon Snow's back. King in the North!
I mean,
Josh, stop being stupid and admit that is emotional.
It's not.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I this is straight up 100% truth. If I put on my phone right now and watch King in the North scene reactions, I will start crying.
Especially when is it Lady Mormont gives her?
Dude,
yeah, Lyanna.
When she's like, "And you refuse the call," and then the fucking that guy's like, "Lady Mormont speaks harshly, but truly."
Well, she's not wrong. Yeah.
No, bitch, but truly. I know that whole fucking scene. I've seen so many reactions to that. A man can only know when he was wrong.
Dude. And that dude still doesn't show up later on to fight the dead.
That doesn't matter. That scene is fucking boss.
Listen, it's fine. None of this matters, okay? Hard-hitting question right out the gate. Inquiring minds want to know, why can't Rickon zigzag? What the fuck, dude? Okay, we've been talking about this for years. We have a chance to talk about this live and in person. Jason, go. Why can't Rickon zigzag? What did you see in his combine video that made him, gave him the inability?
That was the first thing is that, he thought he was running the 40 time, the combine. And, you really want to hit straight line bursts.
Straight line. Yeah, he should have been running the 3-cone. That's what we're saying.
I'm saying that if I was Rickon, as soon as I saw the first arrow hit the ground, dude, I would be dodging all over the place.
Well, here's the thing.
I would not have gone down like that.
I thought about this.
I'll say, okay, so for my real answer, just as the only thing I can explain it is he's a High Lord child, never been in any kind of situation where he was actual danger, literally had no clue. Yeah. And they didn't have any lines for him because the guy was probably a terrible actor.
Well, I mean, look, the real way to do it is you just run slight diagonal, you listen for the bowstring, and as soon as it's loosed, you just run the other fucking direction, and it's impossible for you to die, right? Like it's not happening. Yeah, or you just stop running, right? So in reality, there's zero way he should have died. But if we're trying to have copium and explain bad writing, then because look, it's what it is. Like they could have done different things with Rickon. They didn't have to just have him just get just taken out like that. What they could have done is had Ramsay known Rickon was just going to run straight. They could have had a pit trap. Imagine that. Yeah. Jon goes to grab his hand and he just falls. Boop.
On a pile of spikes?
Yes. Yeah. That'd have been even better.
HBO hire us right now.
And this is why for anybody, any large corporations that happen to be watching our podcast right now, we are
available.
We're available. We're that last line of defense. Whenever you're,
I'm going to be honest. It wouldn't take much either.
Correct.
I would do it.
And he's on the
It
dollar.
would take, maybe just like a half-eaten ham sandwich to the back of the head.
I don't like where this is going.
No.
That y'all threw. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a deep inside joke. Don't worry about that.
Well, that was the only question I had for season 6, guys. It's been real
Stupid. Come on, keep going.
Okay, fine. As we've asked every week here, which houses rose and fell? Let's start with which house fell the hardest this week?
Bolton.
Yeah, probably Bolton.
I mean,
I went Tyrell.
They had a mixed season.
Tyrell. Yeah.
They lost everybody except for the
Olenna.
the grandmother, Olenna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my answer of Bolton. Anyway, I don't care.
So Ramsey kills Lord Bolton, right? So he kills Roose, fucking manly name that Roose is.
What's the mom?
They
Yeah. Where's Lord Bolton? He's in here. Why would you follow Ramsey to where he keeps the dogs?
Dogs.
There's no way.
Eating moron.
There's no way Ruse didn't tell his wife, "Hey,
look, stay the fuck away from this dude. Hey, if I gotta go somewhere or something, stay away from this guy."
Or worse. Like, look, this is on Roose. Roose should have said, "Hey, look, if I die unexpectedly, or if you don't see me that day."
Yeah.
Here's your get out bag. Get the fuck out.
90 silver. Run on down to Storm.
Bro, I don't like this 90 silver thing that you keep. Wait, no, that was never mind.
90 silver stags to kill Bran.
Yeah.
So look, the Boltons, that's a good choice. So Ramsey kills Roose, and then Ramsey feeling pretty confident, and look, he had a good plan. He roped Jon Snow in, right?
Yep.
Brought the rest of the team with him, and nobody, including Jon, was anticipating the Knights of the Vale rolling up.
Correct.
Yeah.
They saved the day.
Yeah. So almost a good plan by Ramsey, but definitely fell. I went Tyrell, right? We lost Marjorie, we lost Loras, we lost the father, who was the master of coin. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But I mean, that was a huge chunk of the Tyrell family gone.
Oh, and
including the future.
And we got it all in one of the best shot sequences in television history. Like between the writing, the music, the cinematography,
the music was awesome.
The
cinematography. My name's David. I like cinematography.
The vibe of the. I mean, dude, it just when you're watching it, even these years later, it's just like when the music comes in, like dude, it's
I know. Like, I feel like it should be an REM song. I feel like it should be Mad World coming on while that's going on.
It's just I don't know. I don't think there's ever been a better opening 15 minutes to a show.
It was fantastic. Like I said, the music is fantastic. The only spoken words in that whole sequence are the High Sparrow and Loras as they're kind of having their little back and forth, setting up the trial while everything else is kind of going into place.
Yeah, and Marjorie's like, something's not right. Cersei's not here, and he's like, she will atone for her sin. She'll be held accountable, whatever, for her sins.
Whether she's here or not.
Yeah, not really.
No, she says she knows her absence. She knows the repercussions of her absence, and yet she's still not here. She doesn't intend to face those consequences.
Yeah, where's Tommen?
Yeah.
So good job by Marjorie, at least noticing something was wrong. Just a bit too late.
Well, I mean, that's a debatable question there. I don't know if you.
I have a thought on that later. Which family rose this season? Is this another Stark season?
It has to be. They won back Winterfell.
They won back Winterfell. Arya takes out the Freys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's 100% Starks. Direwolf on the rise.
Becomes the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's a Stark sweep there.
Yeah, I think it's a Stark sweep.
Absolutely.
All right, what's the worst storyline of the season?
Don't say brands, Jason.
I'm not going to say it
for
because
me, it
this
continues to
season
be the
was-
High Sparrow.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go off the beaten path only because I cannot stand the way it plays out, and that is the Sam Gilly storyline. And it's not because I dislike the storyline; it's because his dad is such a motherfucking dick.
Who's this?
This,
He's talking about Randall Tarley.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, he is.
Sam and they're sitting at the table, and he's like, "Oh, would you like another piece of bread?" "Oh, yes, mother." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you're not fat
Not
enough."
fat enough.
God dang. You know, I just
That
wish.
was good shit.
Yeah, I just wish that. And I think the thing that makes it so difficult is Sam just taking it. It's, dude, you killed a Thin. You killed a White Walker. Like, you've been beyond the wall. Like, you've lived through some shit. Like, you lived through the attack on, on Castle Black.
His dad doesn't believe it.
Oh, I know. It's just, I don't know.
Well, look,
It's-
spoilers. His dad
it hurts.
pays the price later.
He
Yeah,
pays
he
the
does.
iron price.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm going to go with that storyline, and it's only because, not because I hate it so much, it's just because it's hard to watch.
Sam's storyline is good, man. He cures Jorah. Is that in season 6 or is that 7?
It's at
6, 7.
It's in 6?
Seven.
It's in 7. We'll talk about that next week.
In 6, he just got to,
He gets to the Citadel.
Yeah.
He just got to the Citadel.
Look, I know, Jason, you're not super in love with Sam and Gilly's storyline.
This
you know.
season's fine.
Dude, I love Sam in his storyline.
I love
think
Sam
it's great.
too. He's good.
I think the weakest
I
storyline.
love Sam as well.
I think the weakest storyline for me, I think it's easy. Given how strong everything else is in this season, is the Marine, Tyrion storyline. It's just obvious they have no idea what to do with Tyrion at this point. I think they've completely run out of George R. R. Martin primo material for him. And he just let's play a drinking game. And then he just randomly just does nothing, basically. And then he has good intentions, but Marine basically gets overrun. He's a bad substitute teacher for Dany when she's off doing her thing. She has to come back and save the day. Like, why are they? Tyrion was MVP and one of the best written characters in this show. And pretty much from this point forward, his character is never even close to the heights that he reached early on.
He went from S tier to B tier.
Dude, I think you're generous with a B tier.
I mean,
it's a folly of errors across the next few seasons. His one shining moment, it's in season 7. I'll spend some time on it then. But other than that, he's got a lot of opportunity for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. What about the best storyline this season?
Gotta be, for me, it's not even a main storyline that takes place over multiple episodes. For me, it's the reuniting of the Stark children, as far as Jon and Sansa and their quest to give the team back, gather the troops, and then take on Lord Bolton.
Yeah. For me, it's really easy. And look, I'm prepared to more than likely pick this person in future, like the last episode as well of our podcast on this. But it's Jon Snow's storyline in general. Specifically, though, the reveal that we get that he is the child in the tower. Lyanna Stark's child, or I should say Lyanna Targaryen, if you want to be technical.
Yeah, her and Aegon, I think it was
Rhaegar. That shot of the baby, and then immediately
the Jon's face,
and dude, the music, and then that goes right into the King of the North scene.
Cinematography, dude, so good.
Dude, I'm telling you what. I am so glad that they're gonna look. It might suck, but
Or it might not happen.
What, the Jon Snow show?
Yeah, I mean it's it's official, but things happen.
So can they call it that? Can they call it the Jon Snow show?
They are not going to do that. I'm pretty sure.
Game of Thrones presents the Jon Snow show.
No, just be Snow.
Oh, you know what?
He's not Snow, man.
That's true.
He's not a Stark either.
He's Eggy.
Yeah.
I hate
fucking Ego Targaryen.
I wonder. Okay,
that's
so
stupid.
I am curious. Okay, because the name John is way too tame for a Targaryen name. Like, what is his real name?
His real name is Aegon Targaryen.
Okay.
But I mean, he doesn't go by that because he's got no connection with that name. But anyway, I think John's whole deal, Battle of the Bastards, all that. I mean, it's all fucking money in the bank.
Yeah, I went with my favorite Stark child, and I went with Arya, and her storyline becoming no one.
Quick question. Now that you bring that up, is there another fight between two? I want to say underage, because in this scene where the one assassin is chasing down Arya, that is a good fight. Like the way that they choreographed it and the way they put that whole thing together. And they're both presumably preteens, 14 years old, maybe. I can't think of another fight between individuals of that age group in any other show or story.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when he got Short Round fighting the Kalimar or Kalisa or whatever, the little kid who runs the temple there. Yeah, that fight might be better than Arya versus the Waif. I don't know. That's a joke. Okay, look, Dr. Jones. That fight is rough. All right. No, dude, it's a good fight. The Arya storyline is very good. She becomes a stone cold killer, and even at the end of it, it's almost like Yakin is like a little scared of her. He's like, "Oh shit, okay."
Yeah, he's like, the girl has no name. She's like, no.
I'm Arya, and I'm going home.
I'm going to Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene where she takes down. Okay, so revisionist history. If any of you guys, up until the very moment that you see the finger in the pie, do you think that was Arya?
No. I did not.
One of the best reveals in Game of Thrones.
That's one of those like Sixth Sense kind of things where it's only as good as it is the first time. It's still good in subsequent watches, but it only ever has that impact once.
So I do kind of remember sort of my original reaction to that is it's actually anticlimactic because I didn't even really know what I was looking at in the pie. Whenever she's like,
she's like, it's hard to see.
Whenever he peels it back and there's like a little finger, like a thumb sticking out.
I literally, like, my brain did not compute what that was. And so she's like, he's right there, my lord. And then I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? And so because it was recorded, as she starts grabbing her face, I go to rewind it to look back at what they're talking about. I'm like, oh. And so I just said, fuck it. And I just unpaused it and let it play out. So I kind of like screwed up the moment for myself.
Such a good moment.
It is such a good moment.
The better one is the opening of season 7. I will just say.
I agree.
We'll get to that later.
All right. So talking about Stark kids, what's your guys' opinion on Sansa this season? Like, where are you at with Sansa? I know she's had a little bit of a hard life, okay, but
I don't like where this.
She's a little bit of a bitch, man.
I don't like where this slander is coming from.
That's good. I'm glad you're on the other side of this, dude. Help me understand why she's a giant piece of shit in this season.
A piece of shit who just so happens saves the day.
I'm going to disagree.
Littlefinger saves the day.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree. But my stance is I agree with Josh, the way up until this season. I think this is her best season, and then I think it's pretty much over. I think this is it. This following seasons, she is, to me, she's not as good as she is in this season. I think she's been through the ringer, and she finally escapes Bolton. She's trying to help John. At no point does she try to circumvent John or to even rise above him. Even when Littlefinger says that, he tries to put that little splinter in there where he says, "Oh well, he's going to be king of the North," and then he's proven right. But she's happy for John. Like, she's happy to be back in Winterfell. She's happy to be away from all these fucking crazy people. She's happy that John's back in her life.
I don't get that feeling at all, man.
She literally tells him.
Not that she literally tells him, "What, I'm happy for you, Dave. I tell you I like you all the time. Doesn't mean it's true, okay?"
Yeah.
I'm done with this podcast.
Log out, bro. Look, I'm not saying that she's not happy for John. What I'm saying is I don't think she's like 100% happy without reservations. Like, I think she wants, all of a sudden she goes from being this, look, I get it. She's had a rough life, okay? But she goes from this like beaten up dog to now like all of a sudden she's like, and I'm just talking about her demeanor and how she is, and now all of a sudden now she's in charge. And now all of a sudden she knows how to run Winterfell, and she's trying to be a military like leader, and it's like
well, see, so
what exactly are your qualifications for this position?
I get what you're saying.
Let me see your resume.
But I think the purpose of Sansa Stark in this regard is to show the contrast between her and Reek. Reek gave up. Reek broke. Reek caved. Sansa was like, "I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker." And that's what she, that was her. That was her singular motivation.
Yeah.
Get castle. Get our castle back. Restore our family name, and kill this motherfucker.
I mean, I think you can make I think you can make a reasonable argument that Sansa, outside of people who've died, right? I'm just talking about just the survivors. I think she's had literally the toughest situation to deal with out of all of the survivors.
Would you say that she has a pretty interesting story?
I mean, it's less interesting than some, obviously.
I guess.
Worst line in Game of Thrones history, by the way.
Now, one thing I will say about Sansa that I didn't care for in this season is why wait? I mean, look, I understand, but at some point, you need to just swallow your pride and say, "Look, we're not going to win this without Peter Baelish." She waits to the last second, literally putting her brother's life on the line, waiting for the Knights of the Vale to show up.
Jason, I want to remind you that she didn't do that. It was the writers of the show that wanted a climactic moment.
Well, I mean, it makes for better television, of course.
That's why she did it. She did it for the watch, Jason, for the TV.
She did it for the clicks. You got to let the
look. I'm just saying, I'm going to bring this question back next week, all right? And I want to see if everybody still feels the same way about Sansa in the next episode.
I'm going to let you know she's Queen of the North for me, so you can just save your question for me.
Okay, all right.
Look, I'm kidding. And next season, she's awful, but we're not talking about that right now.
All right. Do you guys? Let's do this one. What was the craziest moment of the season for you guys?
Has to be the explosion of the Sept. Hands down. Because I just wasn't expecting
Jason,
that.
if you're talking, we can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with Dave. Even up to the very moment when whoever that fucking Lannister is, it's crawling on the ground.
Lancel.
Yeah, you do not comprehend what's truly about to happen. Something is about to happen, but then when it happens, it's 10 times bigger than you can think of.
I don't. I mean, look, I could easily lie and say that I did, but at the time, I remember specifically, I wasn't sure exactly what was going to blow up. Like, I knew, obviously, it's the wildfire, but I didn't know what was, like, I didn't know that the sept was right there.
Entire sept, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, it didn't really hit me.
We know it's pretty much nothing.
Yeah. You know, I would say a close second for me is Tommen jumping out the window right after. That was completely, like, you know, he puts his crown down. I thought he was just abandoning the crown. I mean, I was right, but he was permanently abandoning, you know, life itself.
Life.
That was almost more shocking to me was that moment. I mean, look, obviously the Sept of Baelor blowing up was pretty crazy, but I certainly just didn't expect Tommen to just put the crown down and just leap out the window.
And he does it so cool. Like he's in stunned shock. There's a guy that's standing behind him, one of his, you know, I don't know, foot boys or whatever. And he's like, "Sorry, my lord." And he walks out, and Tommen's just looking. He just kind of takes the crown off. You think he's just going to go set it down because he's like, "This is how my day's going, I guess."
It's like taking your shoes off at the end of the day. You're just like, "Fuck."
Yeah, and he just walks back, immediately steps on the platform, and just
falls.
Like there's no hesitation. There's no moment of truth. It's just right out the window.
I thought literally he was just going to give up the crown and just walk out of there. I was like, man, I guess he's out. He's gone. Like he doesn't want any part of it. I mean, which again, I mean, though that's true. Man, that's just like, you know, for Cersei is like he just
20 minutes.
You just want to ask Cersei, you know, was it worth it? Like, was it really like really worth it?
And then you get the setup for the Maester that kind of starts it off, where
Maester Pycelle getting gangland shanked.
Oh, by all the little birds,
by a bunch of 6-year-old kids.
Yeah, you know.
One, the funny part is that
I got that death coming up later.
Yeah, you get to see the moments where you realize that he's faking. He's living the gimmick of how old he is, and he moves slow.
Oh, you've seen that throughout the whole series. Like every time he's banging the horse.
So the first kid that comes up there with a knife, he just whap.
Yeah,
that kid goes flying. But then the other one's just like stab, stab, stab.
Yeah. I gotta say that has to be one of the worst ways to go because those knives weren't very long, and he looked like he was alive for much longer than I would have wanted to be.
Yeah,
death by 1,000 pokes.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, for the sake of stretching this segment out a little bit further, I want to go with the hold the door moment. I mean, you want to talk about one of those moments that like it gets dusty in the room, or you want to get emotional about something, dude. Hodor, it's like fucking Groot, man. Like they can convey so much emotion through one word or one phrase, right? Like. Dude, Hodor through the whole series has been just the happy-go-lucky giant there to help Bran, and then Bran has to warg him into basically sacrificing himself, and then you get the mashup of young what's his name? Yeah, was it Willis?
Yeah, it was Willis.
Yeah, where all of a sudden, and I guess I never quite understood how this and that impacted him, and how he really became Hodor. I guess in my brain, I don't quite understand how that happens, but just seeing the little kid kind of, seize up and then start fucking going through that hold the door thing, and then watching Hodor actually die by the White Walkers. That's a tough scene. I was sad for that one.
Essentially, what I think happens is that Bran is warged and in the past.
Yeah, he's both.
While simultaneously warging current Hodor to hold the door, and you have
there's like a weird connection now. Like he's crossing the streams.
And the young girl is screaming, "Hold the door!" And he starts to hear "Hold the door" while he's warged into current Hodor, and accidentally wargs into the past Hodor with "Hold the door."
And turns Hodor into Hodor
before
Bran is even born.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I will say, I'm glad you brought that up, because that scene and like the consequences of that moment, like sprouted, so many theories, of Bran because of that scene. Because now it's like, oh shit, like he can affect the past, right? Like this is proof on screen that he can do that. What else can Bran do? And so, like, that's why that scene is really important. Oh, I didn't. That wasn't a segue. That was just me.
Oh.
I can segue.
I was going to say, take us down the Bran stream.
All right, Jason, you got it.
All right, so this brings us to something. I think, didn't we talk about this briefly before we did season 1?
We might have, yeah.
Okay, so essentially, and look, first off, we're not geniuses over here. We didn't create all this by ourselves. But there are a million theories about how the books are going to play out, what happened in the show. So me and Dave stumbled upon a few. We started talking about how this would make some of what transpires so much better. So the essence of the theories is kind of spawned by multiple theories that have been portrayed about Bran, more or less like evil Bran. Most are kind of just clowning or poking fun of it.
Yeah.
But Bran the Broken as king. But me and Dave feel like there's actually legs for some of this. But instead of evil Bran, the overseer that's manipulating and killing people, we have Bran akin to Doctor Strange from the Avengers.
Yeah.
Someone who was assessing the threat and with kind of using this historical text of the Three-Eyed Raven and Bran, the young Lord of Winterfell, we have someone who's picking and choosing a way forward to defeat the Night King, to eliminate those who would not let the kingdom be ruled peacefully, allowing some, even ones he cares about, to perish to ensure certain events transpire, or to give that extra nudge to certain characters to ensure everyone is where they need to be to ensure victory.
Yeah, and not just to fit, in my opinion, not just to defeat the Night King, but to inevitably sit at the Iron Throne, in order to have real peace again, right?
Correct.
So and look, an interesting little tidbit there. The Song of Ice and Fire books are told in first person, and each chapter is a different person. The first chapter in A Song of Ice and Fire is Bran. I think the very last chapter of the final book will also be Bran.
Probably.
To complete the circle.
So,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so are we saying that this becomes the story when Bran becomes the Three-Eyed Raven, or as we've seen him now by accident alter Hodor's life, are we saying that Bran maybe has altered other parts of the story without us seeing it? Or are we only assuming that everything that Bran does going forward is only after he becomes the Three-Eyed Raven?
So it's only...
I was going to say, because there's a couple of things that can be true. We assume that it's only things that he's manipulated after he becomes the Three-Eyed Raven. The problem is, as the Three-Eyed Raven, he could travel into the past. So we don't know, like, the precedent has been set that he can communicate in different ways. So, like, when Ned is at the Tower of Joy, and we get that flashback where he's about to go up the steps to his sister, who's
and he hears Bran call out for him, or he hears something call out for him.
Correct, and he turns around. You know, there's a few scenes like that. And the same thing that, like, what Dave just said about Hodor.
Yeah. So
I guess my question. I'm sorry, Dave.
So yeah, I guess in order to like what we think ultimately is that future Bran. So future meaning post this season, right? So whether that's season 7 or 8, whatever, however you want to call it, but like post Three-Eyed Raven Bran is going to, because we don't see him a lot. We don't see him for stretches of time, right? So we don't know exactly what he's doing. Well, what Jason and I believe is that he's using those moments to go back into the past to set the chessboard in his favor, right? And like Jason alluded to, sometimes in chess you have to sacrifice pieces in order to win the long game. And even if they're pieces you really don't want to lose, you might not have a choice. So
that was going to be my question. So let's say Robb Stark wins and he makes it all the way to the Iron Throne, right? Is the Iron Throne still the end game for Bran? And if so are we saying that Bran went back and nudged Robb Stark into Talia?
So me and Dave actually talked about this today, wasn't it?
Yes.
With Rob?
Yeah. So basically, it wasn't so much that he saw that Robb was going to win. It's that if the war continued, there wouldn't be enough fighting men to stop the big war.
The Great War. Yeah.
Yes. So Robb, unfortunately, he couldn't intervene to save Robb. In the future Bran couldn't go back in the past and intervene on that because, unfortunately, he needed to lose there. But
now it's an unintended sacrifice. It's one of those things where, like we equated to like the Doctor Strange, where you go through all the scenarios and you're like, there's only this one way out.
Yeah.
And some of these people are just going to have to perish.
Yeah. An example of him setting the table for himself. If you remember Uncle Benjen randomly saving the day a few times. How did Uncle Benjen randomly find Bran and crew in the woods?
Out in the middle of the snowy forest.
Yeah. Well, he was led there by future Bran. Uncle Benjen also saves the day, spoiler, in season 7, when he saves Jon randomly from all of the White Walkers coming to get him. He puts him on the horse and all that good stuff. And Uncle Benjen.
It's like Harry Potter with the time traveling thing.
Yeah, with the turntable or whatever it's called. Yeah. But no, I forget what it's called. The time turner. Shut up.
Does he have 2 turntables and a microphone, Dave?
He does. He's a wicked. I'm Bran Stark, and I'm broken. And you'll believe all the words that I've spoken. I'm done.
Oh my God.
So,
do you want a peanut?
So another potential victim, of Bran that we've already brought up, Tommen. Jason brought up the fact that Tommen just almost robotically falls out of the castle.
Oh, okay. You think he warged him right out the window, huh?
Yeah.
You never see his face.
You don't ever see his face. And again, he just matter-of-factly, he puts down his crown and he goes to leave. Why does he all of a sudden turn back around and just fall right out the window? Right?
Could be. The other part, like I said, we just don't know yet, and I'm curious to see how the books play out. But let's just say, and I don't even know. Like I said, I don't know if this is accurate or not. But could Bran be the reason why the Mad King became mad? We just don't know.
Yeah,
we saw what happened to Hodor.
Yeah, and we've already got confirmed in the show by Jaime Lannister I believe it's in the bath scene. He mentions that the Mad King was hearing voices.
Yeah.
And, voices were telling him to burn it all. Burn them all.
Yep. Mm. And that's another scene when early on when Jon Snow is out with taking his vows, and it's a little bit different in the books. So that's why I'm bringing it up. But when Ghost comes with a part of the dead body from the Whites, there's a whisper of burn the bodies, burn the body. Nobody actually says it, Nobody knows who says it. But there's a voice that says, "Burn the body." Now that can be, like I said, that can be explained away because White Walkers burn the bodies, but there was no wildlings there. They were all pros.
Yeah. You also mentioned, Jason, that in the books they almost hear a voice telling them about the dragon glass that they find.
Correct. In the books, it's a little bit different. John hears a voice that draws his attention to the were tree, and when he sees the tree, it looks like Bran. And right at the base of that tree is the catch of dragon glass.
So, kind of using a combination of the show and the books, we think ultimately the plan by George R. R. Martin is to put Bran on the throne. The problem with the show is, unlike the books, where in the books you get a lot of the internal dialogue, you don't get that in the show, so it's a lot harder to convey what's actually happening. Plus, the books weren't finished, so,
Look, I think the theory has legs. I like it.
Yeah, unlike Bran, who doesn't.
Yeah. Damn. So
he's got legs. He just can't use them.
Lieutenant Dan, you got legs.
Through 7 and 8, we're going to try and bring you some more of these next week when we go through 7 and 8, and try and kind of put a nice little bow on it.
Yeah.
Well, let's pull it back to Tommen, like you guys talked about a little bit ago. Do we think the whole Septa Baelor incident, like, that's Tommen's fault, right?
Damn.
Ultimately, it's Cersei's fault.
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, it's Cersei's fault. I mean, Tommen is
no. Tommen specifically forbids trial by combat. Now, if we have trial by combat, Gregor takes care of business. Cersei's out the door. Everybody's
Tommen,
good.
Tommen did that.
He comes out and says no trial by combat, and so Cersei's like, "Hey, man, we got to get crazy up in here."
Quick question: who gave him the idea?
I was gonna say he didn't come up with that on his own.
It might have been Bran, or it might have been the High Sparrow.
I'm pretty confident we're talking about the High Sparrow at this point, or the uncle. I think ultimately they wanted to see Cersei held accountable. They were done with her, especially her uncle was done with her at that point.
Super done.
So let's play the scenario. Let's say it was the High Sparrow. Do we feel like he went a little overboard, a little too righteous?
I think the only answer is yes. He was drinking his own Kool-Aid. You don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he got a little high and mighty. I think he was, like I said, absolute power corrupts. Is that what the saying is?
Yeah. So let's say he doesn't go overboard, and let's say he releases Marjorie right at the beginning of this whole process. Like, hey, I was just trying to prove a point. Here you go. Have a nice day. What do you think? What do you think happens after that? What does anything change? Do you think?
If she survives, then Tommen doesn't jump out the window.
Correct.
Maybe Bran doesn't make him jump out the window.
Yeah.
Maybe Bran made sure that the doors were locked. I don't know.
Do you think that's like Cersei now getting even with Marjorie, and now Marjorie's like, okay, hey, look, I'm gonna quit fucking with you. You quit fucking with me.
No,
we're good to go.
I think
or does it continue to escalate?
I think if we've learned anything in Westeros, things don't end unless there's fire or blood, right? So, I don't think they just say, hey, you got me. We're good. We're good now. Yeah. Like, that doesn't happen. Not with the lords and ladies of Westeros. Like the when you have that, like, when you're up there playing the real game, there's no stopping.
Yeah.
Look, she said it. You either win or you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Marjorie squeezes Tommen to get him to forcibly ship her away.
Right. She was close too, man. She was close.
Yep.
She almost had Cersei out of there.
Yep.
So, just to go back, kind of one last question here before we get into a couple of rapid fire questions. But we mentioned Tyrion being a little bit of a B character this season. Do we feel like he did enough to really deserve the honor of being Hand of the Queen?
No, I don't
No.
think so. Because ultimately, he tries to play. I don't want to say he tries to outsmart the Masters, but it's not a good decision.
He's trying to be diplomatic.
So this is an interesting point here that I think there's a really unique comparison for you music fans out there. Tyrion's path is very similar to Metallica's, where it starts off really, really strong, and it's like lights out, life changing, right? But then kind of towards the middle, it just flounders. And then it's like, are they really a good band anymore? But, you got to still give them credit anyway because of what they've done in the past. So it's like they make it into the Hall of Fame, but based on stuff they did 20 years ago, it's like that's kind of how Tyrion is, right? He hasn't done anything good lately, but,
Look, he's got good lines, but nothing he's doing is working, unfortunately.
No.
And that's
I'm logging out.
That's the big problem with Tyrion is that no matter what he says, like nothing really works out from this point.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like we go to wrestling. I don't know. I constantly think about wrestling booking when it comes to Tyrion and how he's kind of up and down in the show. But it's like now the writers feel like Tyrion is like he's untouchable, right? So no matter how many losses he takes, he's still going to be this S tier character in their mind. So then he starts taking losses, right? So he takes the
Marine
loss with the Masters, yeah, and then not to go too far ahead here, but then he takes the loss on Casterly Rock, and he takes the loss on the Fleet, with the Greyjoys and Euron taking over, right? And he just starts fucking taking L's, and then trying to get Cersei to come up and fight the Great War, and she okey-dokes him, right? So now it's just like it becomes this entire like comedy of errors nonstop.
Well,
and he never he doesn't really make up for it.
No, and in all seriousness, like he you said he's a comedy of errors. I feel like especially in season 6. And pretty much moving forward, he almost becomes just comic relief. Like,
yeah.
And I genuinely stand by my statement that I think the writers completely ran out of ideas with him. They just really didn't know what to do with him. And so they just,
it's unfortunate. Yeah. It's, I'm going to piggyback on what Dave just said. It's unfortunate because through the first 5 seasons.
5, yeah.
Yeah, he is sharp as a tack, completely underestimated. And unfortunately, he just, like to what Josh just said, he just starts taking these L's, and it's just like, it's tough to stomach because he can't overcome it.
No. And
in the end, he becomes, and I'm like I said, I don't want to put all the blame, but ultimately he becomes the sole purpose of Dany's turn because he is the last voice of reason, and
he's got no credibility at that point.
Exactly, he has been wrong so many times, and there's nobody left, and
it's
Dany's just like, bleh.
It's like the writers were mad that Peter Dinklage was just taking home Emmy after Emmy, deservingly so, and they were like, "Man, no, we're gonna make your character garbage, and we're gonna give you like the worst line in the history of this show by saying Bran has the best story of anyone else.
Who has a better story than
Bran the Broken?"
Yeah. I know I'm watching the episode before the long night right now, and it's just Bran and Tyrion in the room, and Tyrion pulls up on Bran. He's like, "I bet you have a really interesting story." He's like, yeah, it's really long. He's like, well, if only we were stuck in a castle about to die.
And then they don't show the scene, right?
I'd like to hear it. And then he pulls up a chair, and that's it. And then next time you see Tyrion, he's drinking with Jaime.
I am curious to know, like,
I was like, Tyrion, don't sit there and listen. What'd you say, Fossil?
I was just curious to see like what their actual conversation was.
Yeah, that's a season 8 problem that we'll get to about how they don't show the scenes actually take place.
Yeah. So hey, just a few rapid fire questions here. Just a reminder for everybody, we're coming back next week. We're going to talk about season 7 and season 8 together in one shot. We're also going to go through rank our seasons in order from worst to best.
And me and David talked about that. That's going to be so hard.
I don't know. Maybe we could put together a list of like the 5 best characters from each of us as well. That could be fun. That's a tough list, but so hey, rapid fire questions. Favorite character this season?
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Yep.
I got the Hound. I like his little redemption story, man. He comes back. He's trying to be a good dude, and then he gets pushed right back into it.
You suck at dying.
Yeah. When he goes and finds those 3 they're about to be hung, he's like, he's about to just chop them right there on the. No. They're hanging him. He's like,
fine.
So disappointed.
Yeah. Least favorite. Sansa.
I'm gonna say Tyrion for the reasons that we discussed at length.
That's sacrilege. How could you?
I explained why.
That's a tough question. I'm gonna go with Sam Tarly's dad.
So random, but I get it.
Randall Tarly.
Yeah, dude, I just cannot stand his. Look,
he's a dickhead for sure.
Yeah.
And best death for me, we talked about it earlier, is Maester Pycelle, just getting gangland shanked by a bunch of 6-year-old kids.
What about the one faith militant that goes against the Hound?
The one who gets his head ripped in half,
like a tin can.
Yeah, that's good shit.
I'm gonna go Ramsay because I want to give that I want to give that Sansa kill in because I think that's like her only kill that she ever gets.
My dogs won't attack me. You said yourself. You haven't fed them in 7 days,
dude. I mean, like that was that whole speech and everything, and then they show that first bite, and it's like,
right in the face.
It's brutal.
Yeah. So I gotta give love to Sansa on that one. That's a good kill.
Yeah, loyal beast.
Yeah, well, that's a good call. All right. Well, like I said, we'll see you next week here with we're going to be finishing up this run of pods, talking about season 7 and 8. And dude, we're super close to House of the Dragon, man. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, it's getting glowing reviews.
It's gonna be so good. All right. Well, in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later.